There we have them. Esteban and Samuel are going to go into this top 4 match. Both, of course, willing to get into those finals. So for a little over an hour, maybe 1.5 hours, still Jessica Robinson, the reigning European champion, but that is about to change, and maybe one of them here is going to be on their way to become the champion. And Samuel willingly chose to go first at a top 4 situation where you actually should be aware of the matchups, right?
We had a bit of a awkward glance at each other before the match started, he chose to go first, knowing his opponent is on Tenpai. That's an interesting choice, but a choice has been made, and maybe just feels confident that going first is all it takes. So Samuel, who has learned his combos on the plane, apparently, is here in top 4 of the European Championship. So yeah, doing really well for himself. As we start with Witch, we've got Ashe, and it's a very promising start here. Nothing coming down from Esteban as of yet here. No Imperm, no Veiler, and Samuel should be feeling quite confident right now.
Esteban doesn't need those cards. He has more impactful cards on his turn. He's relying on cards like Dark Hole, Lightning Storm, Raigeki. He has the full power and potential of those field-breaking cards available to him. We saw him early in the featured match. He piloted so well in the Tenpai Mirror, and now he's the only remaining Tenpai player in the tournament. Interestingly enough, for the people at home wondering, we have 4 different decks remaining in the tournament. So at this point, anyone could take it. It's anyone's ball game, basically.
Yeah, the Snake Eye representation dwindling completely, as we have, I believe, well, I won't spoil it for now. But yeah, I think it was interesting that you mentioned that Esteban is actually on very few hand traps, actually, just running, of course, the standard, the staple, the best one, the Dimension Shifter. But other than that, yeah, it is kind of like, the best quote-unquote hand trap going for going second. It's Infinite Impermanence, but yeah. 6 destruction board wipes, Dark Hole, Raigeki, Lightning, absolutely incredible list here, and it's been working out very well apparently, so yeah.
For sure, and I mean, Esteban even sacrificed engine spots for those cards, because a lot of players, a lot of Tenpai players that I saw were definitely running 2 to 3 Genroku, and Esteban only uses 1 of them in his main deck, interestingly enough.
I mean, the strategy is working very well, especially because we talked about, that the Raigeki and Dark Hole may conflict with Apollousa being summoned with the IP Mask Arena.
True.
But, I mean, he's in top 4, so who am I to say?
You can see here from Samuel's combo lines that are plane friendly. I'm going to keep calling him out for this. I think that's really, really incredible. Going for the early Apollousa here, insulating against Nibiru, and making sure that we have protection from that. Of course, he doesn't know exactly what Esteban is playing, but yeah, he is putting together this field here as we are in the process of resolving the Ashe. We're going to get a Flamberge out of the hand here, unfortunately.
Ooh.
Don't like to see that. It doesn't affect your combo, but it is just, a single less draw that you get, essentially, for your turn. So that's going to be converted up into a Masquerena here, most likely.
We've seen this a couple more times over the course of the tournament, right? Drawing Flamberge is kind of a new thing, kind of cool nowadays, apparently. All the kids are doing it, so maybe we should start doing that as well. Drawing the Flamberge Dragon, of course, not optimal, but in that case, happens quite often here this tournament.
Going for the Closed Heaven into your Fiendsmith Requiem for Engraver, and really like the line he's taken here, because it's a combo that insulates super well against not just Nibiru but also Veiler / Imperm, because anything to chain onto the Apollousa to wipe the field here means that your Flamberge is going to be able to float you into 2 more bodies. So pretty cool line here by Samuel to go through this here.
Yeah, I mean, apparently that studying on the plane to get all those combos in has paid off, and he's now one of the people qualifying, and his story really is a very cool one. Also, I don't think we had that many players from Switzerland actually qualifying for the World Championship in the past, so that's definitely something to be very, very proud of, representing Europe but also Switzerland in a couple of weeks over in Seattle.
Had a couple of big name players come out of Switzerland, but yeah, a bit of a smaller community compared to usual. Ooh, that's interesting. Okay, we have Imperm. We didn't use it early. We actually just let Samuel commit into his plays. I really do appreciate the boldness that it requires from some players to actually hold your hand traps until a little bit more critical, opportune moments.
I mean,
honestly,
yeah,
I like
we
it.
saw also during the playoff, right? I think that there were like some sort of moves that we really enjoyed saying, and I think it's also whether you really feel like you should wait until you activate it. We saw it for Anthony Lopez, for example, being incredibly patient, and he paid off. And maybe this strategy of being patient and seeing, just without throwing them, brings you the World Championship, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, honestly, if you're running cards like Dark Hole and Lightning Storm and Raigeki, making sure that the fusion monsters of the Fiendsmith archetype are not coming to the field, therefore no Desiree going to be coming down, that's really good, because then that one Dark Hole, that one Raigeki might just be all he needs. So I really like the timing of the Infinite Impermanence there.
You can see that it is going to be perhaps an issue for the Apollousa, maybe, but we'll see what Esteban can have on his turn, because as we can see here, of course, this Apollousa was not made with a Masquerena. It is indeed vulnerable to destruction, and that is a Nightmare Phoenix, not Cerberus, co-linked to the Apollousa. Don't see that anymore, ever, really. So that is only protected from battle, not from destruction. So we have the Masquerena in the Spell and Trap Zone.
I think that could be a wild turn we're about to have.
Okay.
We're leading things up with a Lightning Storm. And what are we going after? Monsters or spell and traps? Because everything at this point is vulnerable, because even the Flamberge Dragon there is sitting in attack position here at this point. And we're going after the monsters. Look at that.
All right, well, not completely out of the woods yet, because the Flamberge does get to special summon back 2 bodies, and the Temple is still on the field, remember, so the Masquerena can then pop out, summon itself to the field, and we still have the Promethean Princess. So again, it's just incredible just how much power that Snake Eye has, and how much resilience and versatility, even with such a huge game-breaking card such as Lightning Storm, you're still able to have the resources available to yourself to still remain with 2 interruptions. That's not even including a potential hand trap.
That is true, but still, I mean, Esteban also sitting there with 4 cards in hand, so maybe we're just going to see a Raigeki coming right after. Who knows? He is definitely capable of it, and I think he's lining up for exactly that. We don't want any monsters on the field. Raigeki, all the way back from Legend of Blue Eyes, is going to make sure there are no monsters left on the field.
The OG Raigeki coming in hot here with the pairing with Lightning.
Oh, baby! All cards on the field eliminated with that obvious Feather Duster. Nothing left for Samuel, and he's applauding himself and the prosperity to follow it up.
Incredible. I mean, just staple after staple, What do you need hand traps for? Just blow away all your opponent's cards, and that's all that matters.
That's what I told you. That is just so cool. Ooh, okay, Ash Blossom and Joy Springboard.
Blossom.
One card left, and then it's the Genroku, the one-off Genroku in his deck that he found there, that he drew into.
Is that his last and final card in hand? It is, right?
It is.
Wow. Battle phase, attack with Genroku, Genroku effect, special summon, and Samuel has nothing left here, just a singular Snake Eye Ash of his own in his hand. We connect, we summon, and just go through the motions here.
From Samuel. I mean, what could it be? And the permanence would have been set before. I don't think there's anything really that Samuel could have here. So if Esteban is able to go through and deal more than 8,000 points of damage, or at least 8,000 points of damage, he is going to take down this first game here. And I mean, now also Pydra would be able to just search out the Sengen Kaimen on top of things even.
Just
but we
chipping away
do
here.
go for the Sengen Summoning, immediately
right.
sending it to the field.
Okay, so Genroku not able to deal 8,000 damage just by itself, or at least not through the Prosperity, right? Because I think the Prosperity, despite being Ash, still halves the damage.
I'm actually not sure, does it?
Let me check.
Well, regardless, the Genroku not being able to be enough here for Esteban, at least as we set the Sangan summoning from our hand here after being searched out with the Pydra. And are we just going to see a Seals pass?
Potentially, but I mean, we haven't Synchro summoned yet either, so maybe there's still a way for him to continue.
Still plays,
here.
right? We're gonna
Chandra.
three attacks have been declared, remember?
That is indeed the
summon
case.
Out the Biden.
It is adding up. Look,
Yeah,
Samuel down to 4,800. That's 2 attacks coming down as well.
Yeah, this is the combo. We're destroying the field spell.
And there we have it. Esteban completely blowing out the entire field there on his opponent's side, and it's up a game here in the semi-final of the European Championship in Berlin.
Prosperity, obviously not an issue whatsoever for a deck that can put up upwards of 36,000 damage in a single turn here. 1 Genroku, a hand trap, and 4 staples. It must be said, I think, the absolute critical point of that match, without a doubt, is holding the Imperm, not just shotgunning it immediately, waiting for the critical moment, which is the sequence, because if that Desiree hits the field, that's what you're scared of.
Yeah, I mean, the issue here, I think it was the remaining of the hand, because I mean, what a hand it was.
Good hands.
Honestly, like, no, I mean, like, without shotgunning the impermanence right away, you just say, okay, I know where to activate it. I know that the Desiree doesn't have to be on the field, because I have my Lightning Storm that I really want to resolve it. Yeah. And then, I mean, he had the nuts. Like, I mean, like,
that really is, you know, it's incredible.
Yeah.
You can't ask for a better hand than, you know, I mean, this is just how he's deck built, right?
Totally.
Like multiple Lightning Storms, Dark Hole Raigeki. We're not focusing on hand traps. Just clear the field, keep things simple. 1 single Genroku, full combo, setting with the Sangan Summoning during the battle phase. Then you can synchro off with the Bident into the Trident, activate the Bident, pop the field spell, summon another boss. Billions of damage can be dealt here.
And I mean, maybe if Samuel would have peeked over a little in top 8 and saw what his opponent was doing, what Esteban was doing there, we should have probably summoned out that Appaloosa by using an IP Masquerena as a material, right? Because then at least that would have stayed.
Or even prior to that, maybe just let Esteban start. You know, that could have been an option as well.
Even better, honestly. But here in this situation, Esteban could capitalize on that fact that his opponent apparently wasn't aware that he is on 10 Pi Dragons, and therefore he could, in a rush, basically take that first game there, card after card, being slammed onto the table with, and yeah, an absolute powerhouse performance there.
And here, guys, what do you think? He's gonna go first once again?
I think so. I think Samuel just learned the combos for going first, so we're sticking to the game plan, I assume.
I had a little sneaky peek at exactly what they're side decking,
Ooh,
so I have a feeling I know
okay.
what's going on here. I won't spoil it until we get into the game.
Absolutely.
But let me just tell you that when you dedicate so many spots in your deck to going second cards, things have to change. So we'll see if Esteban adapts. And again, this is a bit of a mind game because maybe Samuel knew that Esteban was going was on 10 Pi.
Yeah.
Decided to go first anyway. Post side, does he go first? Does he let him start? We'll find out, because this is what it all comes down to. The European Championship is all about that play testing and understanding the mentality and dynamic of the greater field, analysis of the meta, whether it's through your friends, your local scene, via streams. Last week we had the WCQ, and of course that's a great way to scout out the competition.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Totally. I mean, and here now with the Esteban sitting on the drive spot, game 2 is about to start. So I would say, without no further ado, let's jump into game 2.
There we have them big on the screen once more, and the very important decision has to be made whether Samuel wants to lead off once more or not.
All right, I'm just waiting to see whose card comes down first here.
Oh, I think that's a card that isn't
standby
just really telling, because that could be his turn or his opponent's turn with the Dimension Shifter bit. So it's clearly Samuel's turn, who now has to live with a Dimension Shifter, but also a Mulchami Berulia.
And there's a normal summon, 1 draw coming down here. By the way, I just want to say I know exactly what happened. So Esteban sided out all of the destruction cards, expecting to be made to go first. So Samuel has, in a way, counter-picked this, counter-sided rather. So potentially Esteban might be caught off guard here. But the issue is, irrespective, we've got Berulia and Dimension Shifter. Like, what are you going to do here?
I mean, what a game plan, honestly, by Esteban, though. Like, just
giving him
switching
2
it up
cards
back
with
and
Berulia.
forth for real. Yeah, he drew 2 cards already.
Yeah.
Wait, but he's on 5 cards in hand. So yeah, we've replaced into 2 cards. That's absolutely correct. And
Wow.
Esteban is collecting. And I mean, if you really sided out all of those Lightning Storms and Feather Dusters and so on, maybe Samuel could add something to the Spare and Trap Zone then all of a sudden that makes Esteban some problems here.
Yeah, you can see here doing his best to play under this Dimension Shifter by scaling the Snake Eye Oak instead. So that's going to be a Masquerena pass, and then it genuinely is all you can really do in this situation. So not ideal. You can see Esteban side decking as well, still keeping the Berulia in the main here. So I suppose that's just a case of the side decking
no
patterns.
set, spell, and trap cards. So that's all that
pass?
Samuel has to
Really?
offer. It is the turn of Esteban indeed. And he, once more, will lead things off with Pot of Prosperity. Last game there was an Ash Blossom for that. Does Samuel have that again, though?
All right, well, we are removing those Link monsters. Those are not necessary going second here as we reveal a Nibiru, a Rivalry, a Sangan Summoning, a Lightning Storm, a Raigeki,
We're still having those big destruction cards. We still have the Raigeki, we still have the Lightning Storm. And honestly, getting rid of the Temple and the Oak seems very promising to me, because that means VIP Masquerade on its own is not going to do anything, quite frankly.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely incredible. It's crazy just how much of a mishmash that Esteban's deck looks like now. You know, we actually kept in some of the destruction cards, because I saw that Dark Hole definitely came out. We kept in Raigeki, but we put in Rivalry, and we have Perulia. So, I don't know, was this like a versatile sort of like 50-50 side plan?
Honestly,
Who knows?
I like considering the Rivalry, because that may as well just be the safest of them all. Like, just sitting on that Rivalry, it really depends on how quick Esteban wants to go in this game. How quickly he wants to take this game into a direction that is going to his favor, because at the moment we're still under the influence of Dimension Shifters, so clearing the field here would be very good, because that would mean the cards get banished.
All right, well, he's going to have to hurry up and pick a card soon, because this is a potential slow play here. We do need to find something fast. All right, it looks like we are going to take the Rivalry. We make... Yep,
Yes,
okay, yep.
we ended up taking that, and Samuel nods his hat in confirmation.
All right, taking the Rivalry of Warlords here. Do we still have enough from our hand here to potentially threaten game, even through the Masquerena off of the Oak? Remember, the Divine Temple is going to be able to trigger and summon out. And there's a Chandra. Yeah, we have a way to game through here, but do we have anything to stop Masquerena?
That is the question. So, Oak bringing back Ash, and Ash, of course, now also going to Surge. So we see also on top of the main deck of Samuel that there is triple tactic talents in his main deck, and Esteban just never planned on activating any monster effects in the main phase. He just went in the draw phase, straight in, Dimension Shifter, Perulia, and that was all he needed, of course.
Yeah, I can tell you, Samuel is very likely to have never played against this type of Tenpai deck, you know. It's a very, very unique build that Esteban is running here as we resolve our Poplar here, putting as many monsters on the field as possible and putting them into attack mode. I don't know about that.
Dangerous game that he's playing there, but maybe Samuel just wants to go into an Appaloosa as quickly as possible. Okay, no, we go for Chandra effect now in the hand.
Yeah, okay, holding off on the Masquerena for now, so we'll see just exactly what the plan is for that. I mean, there are options, as you mentioned. We could just go for a big 4-material Appaloosa, or we could go for SP. Looks like end of main phase. Battle phase has been declared, so we're going to use our Masquerena.
That hurts big time, though, banishing all of those resources there alongside the Oak, which would
Still
usually be there to recover. So
do
that
we have an
gone.
answer? Is there a response? Is there something for this 4-material Appaloosa here? Remember, there is Droplet in his deck list, and
Okay. I mean, Appaloosa is a fairy, and tell me how many more fairy monsters Samuel has in his deck, so that Rivalry could definitely put in the work. But, in the end phase, there is a Drury's Worm, making sure there also is a dragon now on the field at the very least for him.
Yeah. Okay, all right. Drury's Worm. We're going to draw for turn here. We got a couple of cards in our hand. That's a nice top deck. We have managed to pick up a Witch from the hand here.
All right, but at least we get to activate the effect of Drury's Worm now, sending it to the graveyard through the Rivalry and getting rid of one of the Chandras here.
Dimension Shifter now offline, so perhaps Samuel will start to play the game here. Let's see what he does. Remember, we've got an Engraver in hand as well. This is really strong, but Rivalry of Warlords, I mean, that's the issue. Can't really do anything under this. Fairy monsters just sitting staring at his hand. It's not going to change, Samuel, I promise you that. As are we entering the battle phase?
We are, and that's an invitation to any Tenpai player in the battle phase. We're just going to activate the effect of Chandra. That will be met with the first negate of Appaloosa. So that one drops down to 2,400 attack points, which becomes a lot more easy to deal with, honestly.
3 materials now, and clearing the Chandra makes absolute sense here. Esteban is probably just going to try and wait until we draw an answer to this Apollosa. I wonder if he will remember it was made with Masquerade. Now remember, that is very, very key and important. His deck is filled with Mass Destruction, but Apollosa was made with IP Masquerade, making it indestructible by card effects.
Indeed.
And the Engraver also as well now here with Samuel. I think he can maybe try to adjust a little bit this. I mean, we saw also Esteban holding, I think, an inhibitor and another, you know, interruption. But
Fiendsmith's Tract is being added to his hand now through that Fiendsmith Engraver. But is there going to be anything else? Looks like we're about to maybe set a card. Oh, we're not sure. Yep, indeed we are.
And no plays available, unfortunately. Original Sinful Spoil does send for cost, but legal targets in deck do not consist of fairies, let me tell you that. Looks like a Dogwood we've just picked up. Oh, and we're setting and passing. I wonder if it's even worth setting, honestly. You probably aren't risking going to be OTK'd here, especially on 71 life points, unless I suppose Samuel does just see an out immediately off the top here. Do we have outs? Do we side deck for this type of thing? We'll find out as we go and set a card here. Oh, I think I know what Samuel's building up to here.
Ooh, and I like the decision of Samuel not to attack, because in case there is some kind of a hand interaction like a Mourner or something, he can just let them have sit on it, and then maybe Esteban all of a sudden locks himself into an attribute he doesn't even like.
I think I see what's about to happen here.
Oh, are we going to potentially give up our own Apollousa for a tribute summon here, maybe?
It's a dangerous game to play, honestly, but yeah, we could theoretically tribute set.
Oh, is it about to happen?
Yes,
Not see that every day. Tributing 2 of your own monsters to set a monster here in the semi-finals of the European Championship. That's incredible, but now we can activate Tract.
And I think we're going to try and eliminate this rivalry of Warlords with the Requiem, aren't we?
That may actually be the case.
All right, well, Tract is being activated here. And we're special summoning out a Fiend. That's Fabled Lori. Onto the field here. No response as of yet from Esteban. You know, it's interesting, we have Tribute Summon on our bingo cards here, but for whatever reason, we've seen about 3 or 4 Tribute sets this entire stream, by the way. Shoutouts to that Runic gameplay with the Tribute setting of Kashtiras, but this is where we're at right now, ladies and gentlemen. Top 4, if you're just tuning in, welcome everyone. This has been the European Championship in Berlin, Germany for this 2024 season, and of course, these duelists have both qualified to the World Championship. They will be heading to Seattle in the United States, as we are underway trying to find and crown a new European champion. Here is Engraver being summoned to the field now.
And now the air is getting kind of thin with that Engraver on the field and the Requiem equipped to it.
I'm concerned with Samuel reading his own cards so intently.
I mean, on the plane, I think he didn't have enough time.
Yeah, maybe there was turbulence. All right.
I mean, to be fair, the Engraver could only go after monsters, right? So that would not be an answer to the rivalry.
Okay, that is the case here. Yeah, we cannot send any card, it is just monsters. So we're gonna go into our Necro-equipped Princess, using a monster that's equipped with a card, a monster card specifically. Get to bring back the Engraver. We are just sticking into Fiends here.
Nightmare Phoenix is a Fiend!
Nightmare Phoenix is a Fiend! Hits the rivalry of Warlords, and now nothing stands between Samuel and doing some combos here, potentially, except, you know, something from the hand. We'll figure out whether or not Esteban has a bit of a primal being or not to contend with this, but the problem has been addressed, and that is the rivalry of Warlords. Well played by Samuel.
Very well played.
Finding the tribute set into the Fiend climb up into the Phoenix. And here we go.
I love it. And there is original Sinful Spoils now sending away the Nightmare Phoenix. So we are actually good to go here.
It's time for Snake Eye Ash, which is going to get Poplar, and none of our cards have resolved this turn. So everything is online and good to go. It's just a matter of what does Esteban have potentially in hand for this.
Esteban sits there pretty calmly, even though Samuel just outed his major win condition, which has been buying him a couple of turns there already, but now Samuel is free. Yeah, free like a bird there in top 4 right now. He was so far really hindered in playing, but there he is now activating Ash, activating to search, but we didn't search. Did we search Poplar?
No, we searched another copy of Ash. I was a little bit kind of squinting my eye at that. Did we go through all of our Poplars already?
Might actually be the case, huh?
Okay, right. Well, we're going to use the Snake Eye Ash, it seems. And we've got Ash Ogre in hand, I think. We're going to special out the Flamberge here from the deck. And nothing to scale, only working against face-up monsters.
I mean, you gotta check, is there even a second level 1 monster in the graveyard that is also fire? Because, yeah, we're reading the Flamberge Dragon. Esteban considering now whether he wants to immediately do something, because there is only one level 1 fire monster in the graveyard, as that Dimension Shifter at the beginning of the game was making sure that the Snake Eye Ash and the Snake Eye Oak were both banished.
Yeah, I mean, I guess we must have lost both of our Poplars to this Dimension Shifter. There's the Nibiru, the Primal Being. Does not hit set cards, remember. And of course, there is a token to be summoned, and we're putting it in defense mode. Set monsters do not get removed, remember.
And pass.
And pass his turn here.
Over it goes. Esteban still in this, absolutely. And now I'm excited to see whether he's going to end up flipping those monsters up, or whether those are just going to sit there face down on the field. Until the end of the game, we're just going the battle phase. Usually the natural habitat of a 10-pipe player, but this is going to be the Nibiru attacking here.
This is the strangest.
Unbelievable, yeah. Because I think that the set monsters are not 10 pies. That's the point.
Yeah, absolutely not.
All right, we're just sitting with maybe some ashes face down or something, I guess. That's my only explanation
something
here.
like
I think one of them is the Mulch army. Yeah,
that could definitely be the case.
Yeah,
so is there even a target now for Snake Eye Ash anymore? Because, yeah, look at that. We just normal summon Ash.
No effect.
And there is also the Witch, but we get to link them off. I mean, maybe we can link climb it to something like Access Code Talker or something. There is a fire monster available to get with Hita. That ain't bad, actually.
I'm sure there's going to be 100 people right now asking why the graveyard is on the left. You know, just to clarify, you know, if you're left-handed, you are allowed to mirror your field. So I can make sure that let you know that that is absolutely fine.
Also, importantly enough, there is now 2 level 1 fire monsters in the graveyard. So if we go for Princess and then bring back the Flamberge, that could be our way out of this, as that at least would guarantee a lot of monsters being summoned at the same time. But first, the Engraver can, of course, also activate this effect.
Whoa, what a game state. I mean, losing both Poplars is super, super important. And, well, Flamberge in the graveyard, I suppose we can retrieve it with a Princess, but there's nothing to float it into. That's the kind of problem here, as we've lost all of our Oak was banished, and I guess both of our Poplars are, so I'm not too sure what our answers are in here. I mean, this is where the mark of a European champion will be met. Can you play under such awkward and strange, unique new situations?
Yeah, I think at the beginning of the match, maybe both of them were still a little shaky because they just had that emotional moment of qualifying. But as longer as the game goes on, they both really show that they're the best with their deck, pretty much. Because they are the last remaining in the tournament with that specific deck. The last remaining Princess of Snake Eye player, the last remaining 10-pipe player, and they are now going to battle in this final top 4 match.
See that the Send here was used on the Perulia, a set monster, rather than the Nibiru, so I guess Samuel feels like he has an answer to this 30,000 attack monster.
We're reading our Snake Eye Diabellstar there in the graveyard again.
Just wants to make sure, you know, doesn't make any misplays.
Certainly, but we need to, I think we need to link up still. And the Access Code Talker, I was talking about it, is in his side deck. And was it really a main priority of Samuel to bring it in here into his extra deck while side decking for game 2? I'm not 100% sure, to be honest, because
yeah, that's the thing.
He went first, right? So do you really going first side in the Access Code Talker? Seems kind of odd to me, to be honest. So he would need it, but I don't know whether he has it here. But first of all, we get to Fusion Summon out through the sequence, and that does look like we are going to have a Desiree coming down here, yeah?
Is it 3 materials we've used?
Yep, it sure looked like 3 materials.
Okay, all right. Well, Desiree is really strong, able to negate any card face up on the field, so into the zone of Hita, interestingly. Not sure about that.
The effect was used, we're fine.
Okay. Most likely going to send the sequence and Hita off potentially for Promethean if we don't have an Access Code Talker. And that means that we can then equip the sequence onto Desiree to make sure it has a negate here. Ooh, okay.
Oh, all right.
This is interesting.
We're going to link off the Desiree into that Promethean Princess. So we want to keep that Hita on the field, apparently. Okay, now we're going to get rid of... Okay, that was a Darkwood sitting there. I mean, that dock would have been kind of nice right now, right? Because I don't think Samuel would have done so many special summons if that dock would have, for some reason, resolved. It would have stayed in the hand.
I want to say I feel like that Samuel is playing super safe into those 2 set cards. I think he was afraid of attacking into 10 pies, but it kind of begs the question why Esteban wouldn't have just flipped one of them on the previous turn, right?
Absolutely.
So, I don't know, like it would have to be exactly double Fadra maybe or something to not really be able to do much, but I don't know.
Calculating right now, but that could almost be game, right? Because we haven't activated the Flamberge, and Flamberge and the yeah, and also the Princes are pretty big in terms of attack points.
Oh,
now
no,
also the
this is
Snake Eye
actually-
Diabelsa joining the party. That's a lot of
huge.
attack points using the
Is it
effect.
enough?
Is that still enough? I think he's pretty confident. He's attacking one at a time. 1, 2, 3. Esteban doing the quick buff and picking up his cards. Samuel in a grandiose game is going to pick up game number 2, equaling the score here.
That was a real back and forth that you would ever see in this situation. Getting shifted, getting Perulia'd, getting rivalried.
And so
I mean,
winning.
I need to find out which airline he was on, because he has learned to navigate this deck supremely in that situation,
honestly,
didn't he?
I mean, we would have never expected him to win this game too, especially as, you know, Esteban started things off with, right? I mean, impressive how he navigated through this. Also, the Nightmare Phoenix catch was, you know, the turning point, a game changer especially. And now into this game 3, honestly, I have no idea how it will turn out, especially because Esteban will go second 100%. I mean,
Is it 100%? I mean, Samuel looked quite confident going first there both games.
Against Tenpai.
Yeah, he was
just-
like definitely chill with that decision. So in Esteban's shoes, I wouldn't expect anything. And I mean, if you are the Tenpai master, but obviously Esteban is, you must be a mind game master as well. So he has to win the mind game kind of here as well before the game even starts by making the correct call on whether to go first or second. So your call, Nadir. What do you think? Is he going first or second?
I mean,
tough call, right?
I think Esteban is definitely going to go second, right?
Okay.
I think the strategy was working really well going second in game number 1. It is a little bit fortunate to draw 3 destruction spells like that, you know, to be fair. But I think, do we play Droplet? We do play Droplet. You know, that's like the one thing that I'm worried about. Apollosa is such a good card against Tenpai. And sometimes if you don't have an answer to that in the battle phase, that's going to be a bit of an issue. So again, you did point out as well, Masquerena super important. And you might have to do an awkward new type of line here where Masquerena uses a material for the Apollosa to make sure that it's protected from that Raigeki Dark Hole, right? Because then it narrows down the only outs to specifically Droplet.
Definitely, and the players are already done with their side taking, so the answers are going to be found here. Over to the table we go. Game number 3 of top 4 coming your way.
Here it is, game number 3 between Samuel and Esteban, and it's gonna be the journey to the final here. 2 more games, I suppose, stand in their way between not just Worlds, they've already got that. That's been done, but the European crown is still to be had.
Okay, and first answer now answered, or first answer found, because Samuel was sent first here from Esteban.
Yeah, all right. I'm curious how this may have affected his side decking and if that really made an impact on what decisions he made here. But it looks like we're going wanted for Snake Eye Diabellstar. That is an interesting choice here. Okay, we are picking up some new lines here. Pay attention. That hand is absolutely cracked, by the way. That is an Ash Witch Diabellstar. Dogwood.
How do we handle that, honestly?
Fascinating dynamic here, isn't it? So you could pass and half your life points.
Yeah.
But if you pass against Tenpai, you know, that's
Pretty tough, pretty
yeah.
tough. I agree. And I think, what do we think? Was that still in the draw phase or maybe standby phase? And we activated the Wanted there to play around cards like Drone Lockbird? Because usually Esteban has shown the tendency to never really play into triple tactic talents, activating Shifter and Perulia and so on and so forth, always in the draw or standby phase. So we probably expect him to do that here as well to Spooky Dogwood, right?
I mean, ideally, yes, you would. I don't know if the rulebook on the plane tell you to do so, but not sure about that. But, you know, no, I think in general, I mean, he should have activated it maybe in the standby phase. I mean, the Dogwood is annoying, honestly, but still, I don't think Samuel can really, you know, pass and pray, let's say. So it's,
I don't know, like, we'll figure it out, but do we like the idea of just, you know, just ignore Dogwood? Just do your combo, yeah, it'll take like a couple of battle phases, but you know, once you've taken away a couple of their resources as they, you know, spend everything, and you survive, then maybe you put them on a top deck situation and it's enough. We'll see. But also the dynamic does change significantly, because you could pass multiple times if you're Esteban, if you do the full combo. But it looks like Samuel is actually keeping it nice and simple here.
Okay, okay. That's not a whole lot of life points gained there for Esteban. So
just tiny monsters.
Is there a lightning storm or a piece feather duster?
That would be crazy. Is he going to do it to him again?
I can see it.
And he is! Yes! Lightning storm, of course, going after the spell and traps. That's crazy. Once more, just wiping everything off there.
Lone Masquerena stands in the way of Esteban. That's a terraforming for Sangan summoning. This isn't going to affect any of our monsters for this turn here. So we are protected from hand traps. All right, we're activating the Sangan summoning here. During the main phase, get a search. Activates the effect.
And the effect is getting met with Ghost Ogre, though. Maybe this ain't over just yet. Esteban does have the power. He's going to move on to the finals by defeating Samuel. 10-5 in the finals of the European World Championship qualifier here in Berlin 2024. The crowd loves it. I told you before the tournament, we see Tenpai going strong this time, and they're actually pulling through. Man, what a game that was.
See, it's really interesting, because I think the Dogwood is irrelevant in the scale of what people normally think it is, right? It's like, oh, I'm just going to activate Dogwood win in time.
Yeah.
But it's not really used as a time card in this situation. It's putting your opponent in an awkward situation where, do you full combo or do you make a minimal field? And then, well, if you make a minimal field, my hand's going to be good enough to beat you, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. No, that's what really happened, and we saw also in the previous Fury matches. And I mean, what you really do, like, if you overextend, then you're in a situation in which, okay, how am I going to do this, you know? And here, on the other hand, we have to say that the Lightning Storm was huge, and I don't know. I mean, like, the Ghost Target was there, and also the Hydra, so it's true. You know.
Easy to say now that that decision did not pay off, but me personally, I think just playing out your combo and then having a super good field, having, of course, a big life points discrepancy, but then going for a couple of battle phases, felt like a smarter call, honestly. I think that may have been his way to victory, but on the other end, then still that Lightning Storm is going to come down, huh?
Hindsight is 50-50, as they say, right? So maybe it's something of a bit of a decision for Samuel to think about. Should he have just let his opponent go first? I think it was probably quite clear, especially since Esteban has been on stream. He's had an interview. He went in a deep dive analysis of his 10-5 deck. Perhaps he knew.
Absolutely, but still his friends are celebrating him. He may have lost, but as he walks off the stage, Samuel gets a round of applause from the crowd. I love that. He has had such a great tournament run. And of course, top 4, and therefore a qualification for the World Championship is definitely nothing to be ashamed of here. What a great tournament run.
I mean, it must be said as well, you know, he did say in his top 8 interview, I was being ushered on stage by Ed, he said, you know, I don't know how I got here. Perhaps, you know, with a little bit more practice, he could have went the full way, but in his eyes, he's got to Worlds, he's happy, and he should be absolutely proud of himself. His friends are celebrating this incredible accomplishment.
I mean, I've heard there's quite a long flight all the way to Seattle, right? So he has plenty of time to study on the flight to Seattle and for the World Championship, I guess.
No, but also Esteban, I think he was very humble. He told us that, you know, he has been playing the game for a long time, and I mean, everyone can do it because he did it. So I guess, you know, now he's on to the final, and he's playing for the title to be the European champion, which I think is, you know, unbelievable. Yeah, what a match that was, and what a battle it has been. And Tenpai is in the final. I'm very curious to see what the deck will be. If, you know, there will be the Fiendsmith, Snake Eyes, or, you know, the U-Bell, for example. I'm really curious to see that.
Yeah.
Yes, what can I say? I mean, it's been a privilege, honestly, to see this match. And
it's pretty sure to say, because we know for a fact it's not going to be a Fiendsmith Snake Eye that he's going to face. I mean, if you paid attention to top 8, there was, for example, Julio Vaz with Ritual Beast playing in the other top 4 match.
U-Bell,
but there's, of course, U-Bell on top of that. So we are probably going to see quite the interesting finals playing out.
Who is in the final?
Find out.
All right, we've just had that confirmed. Yeah, it's going to be Julio versus Esteban.
Ritual Beast versus Tenpai Dragons. That's crazy. But now, first of all, as Esteban has won his featured match, let's hear it from him and add in the winner's interview.
Thank you very much, Basti. I am joined indeed by Esteban Rey here, who has just made his way not only to Seattle, but to the final of the European WCQ with an amazing 10-pie display. How do you feel?
I'm very exciting and so exciting and happy, and I don't know. I want to go in the final and win.
I mean, I'm sure you do at this point. You've got this far. You've done an amazing job. 2,300 more duelists were in here, and now 2 of you have made your way to that stage. It's incredible. I can tell you, you're going to be up against Julio, who won his game. So it's you versus Julio in the final. How do you feel about that? You confident?
I don't know. I won't say yes, but I'm so scared. I want to remain focused, and I don't know. I want to do yes.
That's completely fine. I mean, I don't know if you can hear because you have the headphones on, but that crowd were loving you. Every move you made, you have the energy of the room behind you. All of your friends and supporters are here supporting you, and that energy should carry you into the final. So best of luck. I'm going to let you have some time to breathe and compose yourself for it, but congratulations on being the finalist. Best of luck to you, and also to Julio, who is going to be in the final with him. But guys, don't go anywhere, because that grand final is coming up in just a moment.